God, that was so sad.
Yeah.
Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care it.
We are Our Place Out Loud. I am your lovely and captivating host. You're not alone. Everybody at our place. Nice harmony, Aaron. That's wonderful. I'm your lovely and captivating host, Louise Palanker, here with a panel of wise and wonderful teens. Here in the studio, we have Jake.
Oh.
We have Jake.
Not me.
And panel of wise, wonderful teens. We have Montana, Aaron, Morgan, and Nina. And, of course, standing by on Periscope, we have Jenny from the app. Jenny's very famous of Ask Jenny fame. And you can go to Twitter, go to our Twitter feed at our Place Network is our Twitter handle. And then you can watch us there, which will be really redundant if you're already watching us wherever you're watching us. So why not watch us in stereo? We thought of it first. Remember that. So we have some things to discuss. First and foremost, it was suggested by Aaron and Jenny that we go back to be calling ourselves journals. And I know this is controversial, so I want to hear what you guys think. Because what I said to Aaron and Jenny was, I do prefer the name Journals over Our Place, to be completely honest with you. But whenever you rebrand, it's like pulling out a weed, and then it winds up pulling up the driveway, pulling up the yard, pulling up the house, and then pulling up the whole street. So a lot would have to unravel for us to go from being Our Place to being Journals. But assuming that we could do that, do you guys think that Journals is a better name than Our Place, Montana?
Why did we switch from Journals to Our Place in the first place?
I was ordered to do so.
By whom?
I'm not going to mention the name of this person.
By
but
the higher ups.
I remember saying...
Because it's shameful, and we don't.
I remember saying... Well, I don't... Because with this person, she wanted to blame somebody else. So I'm just going to leave it at that. We changed our name because we thought, well, we're not a journal, so it's going to be confusing. But now we actually think that Journals is kind of old school, classic, cool, and that adding an S makes it like hip and different. And it's still an interesting name in that maybe Our Place is just kind of like a play name, like Romper Room, like not as cool.
What is Romper Room?
Romper Room was like a kid's show, and I don't know what Romper Room is either.
It's not like a room full of people
We need to
wearing
rebrand
rompers.
that. That show had a bad name.
It sounds like a room full of weenies.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
no...
Yeah.
Anyway, forget Romper Room if you don't understand the reference. But it was like a kid's show. So, do you guys think... So, Morgan, you're new to Our Place. If you said... If Nina said, hey, download this cool app called Our Place, you'd be like, that sounds really stupid. Assuming you talked that way, which you don't. But if you did, would you think that Our Place sounds like too like friendly and kid-like, or...
It does sound a little kid-like, in my opinion. I would wonder what that app would be. To be honest with
Right.
you, I wouldn't know whether that would be a game or anything else. I wouldn't know.
But
I think Journal sounds good.
Journal sounds good.
Yeah,
Nina, your thoughts?
I like Journals too. It's cool.
Okay.
it's more older.
I like
Montana?
Journals for the same reasons you like Journals, but it also kind of doesn't sound like the name of like an app or something.
Okay.
I feel like I would get it confused with like somebody's actual journal or something.
All right, so Aaron is going to tell you why he thinks it should go back to being Journals, because he had some interesting thoughts about it.
All right, so essentially, I'm thinking about what the app does, right? It's a place for you to, and I don't know if you know, but essentially it's an app where you can, anonymously or not, post whatever's wrong in your life, whatever's cool in your life, whatever's going on, and share it with random people your age around the world. And you could get advice that way, you could make friends that way, get to know people. And honestly, to me that sounds a bit like almost like a modern public version of journaling, right? Like, here's what's going on in my life today and it sucks. And then also now with our app, what do you guys think, right? Some outside feedback. And if it's anonymous, you have that protection, right? So it's still a journal. It's still safe. But
sort of private.
right, semi-private. And, we do have an actual journal functionality, which if you want it. And whether or not that's accessible right now, I can't remember, but we can always maybe think about bringing it back.
I
Who
think
knows?
it works in the app, but we want to strip like my book and journals. We want to like streamline the app and take out some of the functionality that people aren't
Yes.
really using that often.
Oh, that's definitely true. But and on top of that, like, if you think about it, like, what does Facebook mean? Like, it is a book of faces. Well, this is journals. This is, like, journals, plural, sharing a journal, and it's your intimate thoughts and feelings,
And
right?
while we're on that subject, what does Shazam even mean? Like, what does it even mean?
Shazam, you get a song
Sh-
you
sh-
wanted.
Sh-
Wait.
Shazam,
Shazam.
Shazam means they paid a lot of money for a great marketing team.
And
Oh,
also,
okay.
that's the feeling you get when you find that song that you've
Oh,
been looking for.
Shazam! okay, well, that is good then.
Wait, is there a way that we can ask the people in the app to like vote on
Yeah,
like
so
stuff? We
go-
should make a poll.
So go
Guys,
into
vote.
go into chat headquarters and start a post that says journals are our place and let people vote. And then
Mhm.
after the show, we'll check it out and we'll see what you guys thought.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we came upon this story today, and I saw it all over Facebook. And I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was about how at McGuffey High School in Claysville, Pennsylvania, a group of kids organized an anti-gay day in direct retaliation to the LGBT youth supportive National Day of Silence on Friday. And so, but the difference was that the anti-gay kids were not being silent; they were being pretty aggressive and mean-spirited. Did you guys read about this story?
Just what you sent us. Was there another thing that we were supposed to?
No, I mean, if you read the story and the link, then that pretty much gives you the idea.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to hear your thoughts. And Nina, your hand went up.
I thought that was ridiculous. Why are people that? I thought we were past this. Why?
I thought so too, especially kids. Like, why
yeah,
do kids
I didn't.
even
I thought
care?
this was sort of an adult thing now. Like,
I think they're
adults
being-
are against gays.
They're
Wheezy,
being
the,
fueled by some
Wheezy,
Christian group. Go ahead.
the kids care because the parents care.
Right.
That's why. That's the only reason why.
But you know that half of the kids protesting against LGBT Silence Day are LGBT kids. Like, and that's what makes it ultra cruel to me is that the church is making kids that are gay be anti themselves.
And that's not even necessarily. I mean, like, that could be true, but like,
well, at least it's 10% true.
probably. But like on top of that, like, I think it's even what's even worse than that probably is the fact that they don't even probably most of them know why they're doing what they're doing, right? Like, if you ask them for reasons, they'd be like, well, because it's wrong, right? Like, they wouldn't be able to articulate anything.
Well, see, I'm part of a speech class, and recently we were chosen to just choose our own prompts. And one of the prompts that we were not allowed to choose was gay marriage. Are we supposed to accept it or not accept it? And they were saying, no, don't choose that. It's already happening. So, I mean, in all honesty, I don't believe it is anyone's right to say anything about how they feel about other people's love. But, I mean, it could also be the way they're brought up, where state they're brought up in. I mean, of course, there's that sort of thing where each state has their own right to say what's right and wrong. So,
Well, the thing about this that's kind of, I guess, upsetting or shocking, I don't know what the word is, but Pennsylvania is a pretty blue state. And so, I mean, this must be a small town, Claysville, Pennsylvania. So maybe there's just a very kind of religious church.
high religious background.
Yeah, community there that's
Yeah.
motivating this behavior. But to teach kids cruelty would be like the last thing that Jesus would be approving or advocating. Montana?
I don't want to like blame this all on the church because I feel like sometimes in America we always go to like, oh, the church is doing this and church is doing that, and I completely know where you're coming from. Like, there's been a lot of publicity with like Westboro Baptist Church and stuff like that, but I think more than church, it's just like ignorance and the way in history that like the church has sometimes promoted ignorance, like where, for example, they'll do like masses in entirely Latin, which nobody speaks, and they'll like only let, or like this was way back, but when they only let you interpret for the Bible from how somebody was saying it instead of like the actual Bible. But I think it's more of just like pure ignorance, and because it's such a small town in like middle America, sorry middle America, it's not that I hate you, it's just that, you know, stuff happens. But I think it's just the ignorance in that place. It's kind of like the whole quote-unquote Meninist movement, which was actually a joke started by feminists about people who think that men's rights movement is a thing, and then people got really angry about it, and they're like, yeah, Meninism, men need more rights against women, and it's kind of almost a parody of itself to be, because with all the like progress we've made, and we're like really anti-gay day of dialogue, that's not that's not okay. It's just so ridiculously
What kind of
ignorant.
dialogue? Hate dialogue. And to me, it's like it goes beyond ignorance and it goes into fear.
Dialogue and screaming at something is an entirely different thing.
It's
and
not a
you shouldn't-
conversation. That's
Yeah.
just screaming your point of view. And I feel like it's fear based because if the adults are fearful that any kid who joins a gay straight alliance is, my kid might be gay, or that's something to fear because that will be the end of the family, then they're going to just rattle until this thing is completely gone, because I feel like it's a death rattle. It's almost gone. I feel like people your age, like we discussed last week, are not, this is a non-issue, and teaching kids that it is an issue. Let's go to Aaron and then back to you, Montana.
Okay, so that it's a non-issue. Yeah, I mean, left to our own devices, yes. I think probably for the most part. But here's the thing. You get incidents like this, right? And that's not one little tiny incident. Like, that's an example of things that are happening even within California.
It did make national news. This is probably the first time that Claysville, Pennsylvania has been in the national news. And I would love to visit. I'm sure there's lovely people there. In fact, there were teachers that were out there trying to rip this stuff off of lockers before any kids had to witness it. So
Right.
this is just a tiny portion of Claysville
Right,
that
but like
did this.
the fact that it's so organized and the fact that it's in a school, that's what made it hit the national press. But it's like, on smaller levels or within churches, this stuff happens a lot. And that's the thing, is that, like, you were saying, so quick to jump to the church, but like, honestly, basically, I would argue nearly 100% of everything that's like anti-gay is fueled religiously, and I like religion, actually, I do, but this is an issue that comes from religion. Like, left to their own devices, people typically don't like jump to the conclusion, oh, I should hate these people.
I mean, I can't say that with confidence because I don't come from a religious background, but I do think it's fear-based in that a lot of what people believe could hurt them can never hurt them. And so issues or hot-button issues are designed to sort of get people all in a tizzy, and it's really over nothing, because if they would just live and let live, then they'd be a lot more calm. And I don't know if it's always religion-based or just fear-based, and if fear can present itself in different ways. Just even depending on what country you live in and what people are telling you that could threaten your way of life, which is always the threat. Montana.
I also think that it's like, well, my dad grew up in a bunch of series of really small towns in like Middle America and like rural Canada and stuff. And just from talking to him and his experience with things, a lot of the gay stuff obviously was church fueled, but a lot of it was like macho ego fueled. So like, my dad had been growing out his hair since he was like maybe junior, senior in high school. So, and everybody would call him gay because like 1980s small town Middle America, you had long hair and you were a dude, they would just go by and yell like faggot at him all the time. But I mean, my dad's not gay, but I think that was like they were threatened by like the difference and like the their own like macho egos feeling the need to put somebody else down in order to make themselves feel more stable
Or
in who they are.
fear that
Or-
anything different could mean, oh, what if all the boys decide to be like Todd and grow their hair long? Then what? Then all the boys and girls, you won't even be able to tell them apart. Then what?
Yeah. Well, and then
Okay, well,
and also a lot
just
of
ask them to talk, then you'll hear.
and also what you were saying with like 10%, it's like estimated that like 10% of all people are LGBT in some sort of form. I would actually estimate higher, but that's just because I know a lot of people like that. But I'm probably guessing. I'm guessing that probably a lot of these people are like, I can sometimes have feelings for somebody of the same
Right.
sex. Let's repress this.
Right, exactly.
Maybe it's 10% that has come out.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Because I know there's a lot higher that maybe haven't.
So here's what I think, you guys. I think it's maybe 10% that are just all the way gay.
Yeah.
Like, but ever since I've been doing this work with you guys on Our Place or Journals, I now think that a lot of people have mixed feelings or are somewhere along the spectrum and have had a crush on a boy or a girl or whatever. And those people are undeclared because, they wind up just being mostly straight. And so I do think it's more than 10%, actually.
Yeah.
So it does represent a threat if people are afraid of themselves or their own feelings. Aaron?
So it's a great point. Like the sort of the thread of masculinity changing, right? Like what is masculinity? I have this concept, and suddenly these people are coming around, and they're twisting that on its head because they're guys, but they're not the way I know guys, and it's like, yeah, and that certainly has been a massive issue. Then it's caused a lot of negativity. But I also think that, like within our parents' generation, that was a huge deal, and because it was a huge deal, like progress actually in that direction, I think has been made. Some like masculinity, and how it's defined, how it's portrayed, has had a lot of variance comparatively to what it used to have, which is really interesting. However,
Yes.
talking about fear,
Right.
just going back to religion, I think that is for a lot of these people what drives them. The religion instills the fear, right? So I think that even if it is fear-based, that's where it comes from still.
All right,
Yeah.
really, really good points. We're going to jump to the next question. This comes from Little Reader. And I wanted to kind of read her question or his question and then the response, the suggestion, because I thought it was interesting and a little bit controversial, and I wanted to get you guys' take on it. So, in fact, Aaron, why don't you read Little Reader's question, and then who else wants to read? Okay, Morgan, you read advice to Little Reader from, I think it was Gunner.
Pure Gunner, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so from Little Reader, my friend doesn't talk to me anymore. She has friends of her own and all. She has friends of her own and all, and now with buddy activities, I'm left alone, and people keep on saying things like loner and that I have no friends, which at this moment I feel is true. All my friends now have other friends that they hang out with and good buddies with, and here I am. I understand that other people go through worse with having people not even saying hi to them. It's just, I was in this position a few years ago, and I feel like history is repeating itself.
And this is the advice to Little Reader from Gunner. This might not be healthy for me, but I can solve almost all my problems with video games. I was feeling alone last year because all my friends had other friends they liked better. I started playing Clash of Clans, a very social game, and I didn't feel alone at all after a month or so. I got some more friends and things worked out. So what I'm trying to say is social things with people around the world and take your mind off things if you want. You could set up a YouTube channel and do what you like and take your mind off things until they get better.
All right, so just general question. Is it a good, healthy, adequate solution to feeling alone, finding friends online? Nina?
I mean, it may work for some people, but it's not really that healthy because you're not having a social interaction, really. You're sort of just typing to each other, and that puts you out of practice of actually having a conversation. If you get into that habit, you could be put in front of an actual person and not know what to do because emotions aren't really involved. It's just words. But, I mean, she says she or she got a better in real life. I'm confused.
I think there might be a typo here, and I think what she was saying is that in the year that she felt really alone, it was helpful to have the online friends until her friend circle kind of opened up for her. Jake, what do you think?
I'm gonna try and hold on. Is my face? Yeah. Okay, it worked.
Hey.
So my suggestion isn't that like it's good to just go online instead of having real friends. It's that finding activities that are present online potentially helps you connect with people near you. I know a lot of friends, like I went to this summer program, it's for nerds, it's engineering or whatever, so a lot of them played Clash of Clans, and that meant that not only did they like sit next to each other not really talking, but like together playing the game online with each other, but like it meant that when they left, they had that friend connection for a long time. So it's possible to like retreat into the internet kind of, but I think that in the modern age, the internet and real life are just kind of the same thing. They're both different ways to access people, and some of those people might be near you and help you open up to people that you don't know you could be friends with yet. So that's my advice.
Okay, Aaron?
Yeah, like for example, I agree with Jake, but I think that a good example of what he's talking about is, like even more so, is my sister. She has a very good friend that she met on a game online, and then like after they were friends for a while there, they found out that they lived like really close to each other, and now they see each other like every week, and they're like, I've met her, she's cool. And like that worked out, and that was also kind of at a time where she felt she didn't have that many friends, so she was online. She was making new friends there, and that worked out really well for her. She's also made lots of friends online through like different like cosplay things and whatever else. And like that's not necessarily a game, but that's still online, still meeting people, finding a common interest, which that's what a game is, right? Like, for example, Minecraft, you can play with people online, share a world. I have friends who have very good friends that they met that way. And it's totally viable. It's a real relationship. It's a real friendship. Just don't forget that, you know, you step away from your phone, step away from your computer, you got a whole world out there.
Morgan?
I think you can also expand that. Like, you can think, okay, so you meet people from video games. Is it also okay to just be making friends through Twitter, Facebook, Instagram? You know, I see people all the time making online friendships. But then again, I mean, I have a boyfriend who's very into video games. He plays them all the time. I mean, it can be very frustrating for me considering it's so consuming. Sometimes they have no clue what's going around them. So, I mean, you can kind of, I see him sometimes, maybe even an hour after his video game, he's still sort of in a fantasy world that
Right.
it's not real life. Everything's a little slower.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think that kind of can affect you after a while. I think it can affect your relationships with people a lot, and there's a lot of people who have addictions to it. And so
Yeah.
it can be very severe.
I mean, we've all had that experience where, well, anyone who's played a game where you look up and you're like, oh, this stuff is still here.
Yeah, exactly.
Jake?
Okay. Personal. Wait. There's my face. Okay. Personal connection here. This year has been incredibly boring for me because senior year, like, you don't do things at all, and most people take that opportunity to like become better friends with the people around them and like learn new hobbies. But I decided to expand my video game horizons, and I adopted a bunch of incredibly complicated strategy games, and I've put in at least 25 hours a week for the past like month into this game. And it's
Wait,
terrifying.
Which one?
It's Paradox Games, so like Europa Universalis, Crusader Kings 2, or
Okay.
Hearts of Iron 3.
That's crazy.
They're like I don't even understand what I'm doing most of the time in those games. But my goal is whenever I play games for too long, then talk to a really nerdy friend about it for a lot of time. Because friends who share interest with you, you can talk about these things that you retreat into, and it draws you out at the same time.
All right. Aaron.
Right. So regarding like video game addiction and stuff like that, I've read a lot of research on this. Part of what I studied in school had to do with this stuff, and yeah, totally a thing. Video game addiction, absolutely a thing. But the thing is that it's easy to label someone as a video game addict, but like that doesn't necessarily make it so. Like there are actual like qualifications you have to meet. But regardless, there is absolutely a state of sort of disassociation if you play games for too long. For example, there's like a certain amount of time that your brain benefits from playing games every day. Probably like around an hour-ish is okay, and more than that your brain certainly can kind of zone out a bit, which isn't like, it's not bad, it's not going to like screw your brain up, but it totally does pull you out of the now a little bit.
Matt?
Yeah, actually I wanted to ask Aaron and Jake how Darkest Dungeon is going.
Terribly, and I love it.
Excellent. I love that answer. My brother designed that game. And then I kind of had a question just sort of related to video games, maybe for the panel, and that is my son wants Grand Theft Auto.
Which one?
My son.
No. Which Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah, good question.
Grand Theft
I
Auto
don't know.
Connor.
Probably whatever the most recent one is.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
5.
Who
So-
Okay.
would want anything
Yeah.
but
That
five
okay.
in life?
I'll just start off by saying it is arguably the greatest game ever made.
He's 13.
No. But like
He's 13.
no, I know that. But from a pure.
Aren't there dead hookers in that game?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So here's the thing.
And this is why I have to ask, because I
Right.
initially said no.
Right. So here's the thing. As a game, I think it is, like, objectively speaking, probably the best game ever made. I don't know 13. That's really hard to say because
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
yeah.
Scratching
Okay.
the surface.
I mean,
there.
like for example, at one point in the game, one of your characters lives in a strip club.
yeah.
All right,
Yes.
Nina.
All right. I got my answer.
Nina.
But
Okay,
yes,
okay.
please.
So I'm going to do it from a different perspective here. It depends on how mature your son is. And my brother got it when he was just turned 14, and he's mature for his age. But it depends on if you really closely relate real life and the game, because my brother and I, we kind of just have fun on it, and like I don't like video games, but I'll go up and I'll like drive on it and like knock into people, and it's sort of just messy and, you know, killing people. Well, that sounds violent, but it's like it's not really, unless he takes it really seriously. I wouldn't get it for him at 13, but if it's just for fun, then I don't really see the
Jake,
real harm in it. But.
yeah.
I'm gonna propose an interesting. Oh, wait,
What have you done?
my face. Okay. Sorry. This is the slowest part of the process. I'm gonna propose an interesting question that would he be playing it online a lot?
He wants it to be able to play with his friend.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is that
Oh, okay.
honestly, I think online games, the most valuable and potentially dangerous part of them is the online community. I know I started playing Call of Duty pretty young, and worse than the part where you're like, oh, you know those innocent people? Go kill them. That didn't affect me at all. I don't want to kill people now. But just the people online that are terrible people, that's the worst part of the game. So as long as...
Funniest part of the game.
See, but Nina, you have a really good attitude when it comes to like
I
even
would like-
interacting on your own Twitter
but-
with or your own YouTubes with people that say horrible things to you.
Because I make it into a
But
joke. Cause
not
it's
everybody
funny.
is as confident as you, and some people would have their feelings hurt if people
Yes.
were just like mean.
I
mean.
do put the headphones on. Like, he'll be playing it, and I'll just put the headphones on and say really weird things to people, because it's funny, because you don't have to, I mean, this is a really antisocial view, but
It's
you don't have to see
depersonalized.
them. You don't have to see them in person, so
But
you can just say really weird things, and it's
Weird
kinda
is
funny.
funny, but if you depersonalize things,
Well, there
and
are
there
weird people
people
on it.
saying things to a 13-year-old that you can't
Oh,
say
there
to
are
a
there are like 30-year-olds on there though
Montana.
that swear, and they're real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor 13-year-old is not gonna keep it.
What? What like is Grand Theft Auto? I know you steal cars and you beat hookers with
You
their
hook
own
up
arms.
with people, you steal cars, you steal jets, and you do illegal
What?
stuff.
You work for
That
a
was Grand
mafia
Theft Auto.
boss.
Call of Duty's like shooting.
No. Grand Theft Auto is the one where you like take off the hookers.
Okay,
dead
I don't know
arms
anything
and-
about video
It's-
games,
so
so
here's
everybody's,
the thing.
everybody's
It's-
laughing at me in that corner
It's the
because
same
I
as
don't know
Crazy
anything.
Taxi, but instead of dropping people off, you kill them.
What is Crazy Taxi?
The best game.
Steal the taxi.
All right, Jakey, describe Grand Theft Auto.
Oh,
Tell me in relation
Aaron can probably describe Grand Theft Auto better
Aaron-
than I can.
okay.
He seems to be a fan.
All right, we're going to wrap up this topic after Aaron describes Grand Theft Auto.
Okay, so essentially Grand Theft Auto 5, and I'm only talking about 5, is actually 2 games. Grand Theft Auto Online, very different from Grand Theft Auto 5, but it's the same game, just 2 games in the game. Anyway, so that's 2 games. Grand Theft Auto 5 is essentially Real Life Simulator 2014, and you can do anything from drive a car to play golf to tennis and shooting people and drive a submarine and hang glide and all this crap. And it's amazing. It's so well done.
But there's missions.
I
You
kinda
work for
want
your-
it now.
You work
Oh,
for
yes, you do.
Well, you're going to want
It's
it, Matt.
so fun.
No, that's not it. That's not in question. You're going to want
It's
it.
so good.
But you work for your mafia boss, and
Nope.
there's missions. No?
Well,
What are-
every story is different.
Only if you
Grand Theft-
want to, right?
Right. Well, Grand Theft Auto 5 is such a complex, amazing story with 3 characters with their own narratives that interweave and eventually become one narrative, and it's fantastic. But like the point is that it's much more complex than there's a hooker there, I'm going to kill her, right? Like that's like no, and that makes me sad that that's all you hear about, because like that is like less than 1% of what happens in the game, and it's not even ever something you need to do in the game.
Can I
You're not
disable
rewarded
dead
for this.
hookers?
Only if you don't kill the dead hooker.
Because when Jakey was little, we used to play this game where you would just like ride on sidewalks, and so I disabled pedestrians because I didn't want him killing people. Go
That's
ahead.
so funny.
Make a final point, and then we're going on to the next
Okay.
topic.
Oh wait.
yeah.
Okay, again, it's what you do in the game.
Right.
Most of the people who are killing hookers is because it's a ridiculous game, not
Right.
because they actually want to kill hookers.
Right.
And again, it is kind of sad that that's the what it's got going, like as its public image. But some of the game, like quite a lot of the game, is clever social commentary, kind of.
Like
if you
all of it?
dive, if you dive into the world enough, or listen to any of the things that people are actually saying, it's all really fully aware that it's a mockery of its own self.
Well, you know, Alice
So-
Cooper really only bit off the head of one chicken, and that's all he's known
It's
for.
probably has that reputation because of people
That
like
was-
me that play with their brothers and tell people about how messy
one
it is.
convo.
That was Ozzy.
No, it's just it didn't really happen. I just watched a documentary where like his manager threw a chicken on stage because he was throwing feathers around, and the chicken, Alice Cooper threw the chicken out into the audience, and the chicken really couldn't fly, and the audience killed the chicken, so it wasn't even Alice Cooper. We're going to go to the, see? That's how myths get started.
Chicken abuse.
I know. It's really sad.
Okay, I'm getting Skype on.
All right, we're getting Skype up. We're going to talk to Mrs. Colfer.
Right. There we go.
Hi, Mrs. Colfer.
Hello.
How are you? Can you guys see her? Can you
Hi,
get her?
Jordan.
Jakey,
Oh,
can you
yeah,
get her
hold
up on the
needs
big
to be
screen?
dragged over to my
Drag her?
domain.
Over the
She
good.
must be dragged.
Ta-da!
Ah, looking pretty. So what's going on? Do you have any comments today?
I've been eating dinner.
Really? Can you show us your food? Kindly show us your food.
It's egg drop soup.
Oh, it's hard to show soup. Because if you
Yeah.
hold up a little bit of it, it gets everything. Oh, you guys are
rice.
eating nice. Fried rice. Really? I love Skype. You get to see people's food.
Food.
It's become a cooking show. That's excellent. So, what's going on? Anything exciting? You're still wearing your school uniform?
Yeah, as always.
Yeah?
I just got home about 5 minutes ago from rehearsals.
Yay. And can we have your line? Do you know it yet?
I know all of my lines.
Let's hear one.
No, they're mine.
Oh, my God. I'm teary. I'm, like, welled up. That was... All right, so I have an important question for you, Mrs. Jordan Chris Colfer.
Ask away.
Did you hear early in the show we were discussing whether we should go back to calling ourselves journals? And do you have a vote?
I mean, I didn't really know y'all at Journal's point, but
You're an Our Place girl?
yeah.
So what do you think of the name Journals as opposed to the name Our Place? Moving forward.
I like them both.
Oh, no. All right, we
So
won't
conflicted.
put you in that position. But if you could start a post in chat where you say, Wheezy and the panel want to know which name you like better, Our Place or Journals, then maybe we could get people to vote.
Mhm.
All right, that would be excellent. Thank you so much for Skyping in. Enjoy your dinner.
I will.
Get some good sleep. All right, so this question, this is your question. So Montana's going to read this question, and let me preface it by saying that I do not believe that this person has English as their first language. Having said that, I don't speak any other languages, and I'm not here to judge. Montana, take it away.
Okay. Okay. It's by N.
Yeah,
Guyan.
And Guyans.
Help! We were together for a pretty long time. We both meet our parents. These two.
No laughing!
I'll do it with deadpan.
You don't speak Chinese.
I do a little bit.
But
I took my mock AP today.
respect.
Okay.
Read the question.
These 2 weeks his sides got hurt, so I went over to his house to visit him. I say hello to his parents and then go to his room and see if he's feeling well. He talk and then we kiss. We both laying down because he can't get up and he just took some medicine so he feels weak. When we kiss, he said that this position is a little too awkward. So he take my hand and now I'm on top of him. We kiss for like 30 minutes. Cute little smiley face with a little sweat thing on it. During that time, when we kiss, he start holding my leg and then move up and then he squeezed my bleh. I don't actually...
It could be that, or it could be...
That is too many letters
It
for
could
butt.
be the chesticle area.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I don't have my glasses on.
It's the right amount of letters for boob, also.
because like leg is connected to butt.
All right, go ahead.
On you, Jake. You can't judge her.
She's foreign. All right, go ahead.
What does he want to start from there? He love me or us, me or actually want to have me be his?
This is adorable.
This is so cute. I love it. Oh my god. I have lots of questions inside me, and IDK, can you guys please give me some suggestions?
All right, so let's just bottom line this. She wants to know if, because he was kissing me and had me on top of him and squeezed my butt, are we a couple? I don't think you can...
I thought... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, what did you think she meant?
I thought she meant they were a couple already because she said we were together for a pretty long time.
Right. So So she's asking, what does he mean by this? And is she asking, does this mean he loves me, or does this mean he wants more physically with me? What do you think she's asking?
I think she's asking. Well, like, obviously, when this happens, like, emotions go crazy, and you're like, oh my god, what does this mean? This means he wants more from you physically, and anything else you can't assume, you have to ask.
Because right here in her question are the words, he love me, or us, me, or actually want to have me to be his. So she really wants to know, does this mean he wants more of a relationship and that he's in love with me? And I'm going to say a boy initiating more physical contact with you does not necessarily mean that he wants you to be his or that he loves you. It doesn't mean that.
I also think it's really important, especially when you're younger. I know it's easy to get confused, like the physical aspect, when you're just starting it with emotions and love and stuff like that. Yeah. But the problem with that is, like, there needs to be more communication than that. Just because he squeezed your blah does not mean necessarily that you know how exactly he feels. And maybe he does love you, and I'm not one to judge about that, but there does need to be more communication on this, because I don't want this girl to, like, think that he wants more emotionally and to be, like, really involved when in fact he just wants
right.
Maybe we should get a guy's take on it.
Let's get a guy's take on it, but I just want to say that when it comes to physicality means exactly what it is.
And physicality is easy.
And nothing else.
It's so much easier, like, than he explaining feelings and stuff.
It doesn't mean that he doesn't love you or doesn't respect you. It doesn't negate any of the good romantic stuff that you're craving. It just doesn't mean that.
Yeah.
It means exactly what it is, in my opinion. Aaron.
Right. So, like, bottom line is, if you have these questions, regardless of, like, what's going on, we are not the people you want to ask. All these questions should be posed to him. He's the only one that can actually answer them, right? You want to know if you're together? He will tell you.
And you won't get an honest answer when you're laying on top of him.
Nope. This has to be some other time, like, hey, what's going on? Just, you were on my mind. Can I ask, I want to talk about this for a second, right?
Yeah, like, communication is everything in a relationship. I feel that, like, girls especially overthink everything. I know that personally. And I feel that before you get into the physical side, you need to know what you're comfortable with in a relationship. And also you need to know, what does this person want from me? What does he want in the future with me? Does he want a future with me? Is it now? So maybe she should clarify that before she does anything she's not comfortable with.
Absolutely. And, he could have really simply been taking advantage of, oh, my sides hurt, get on top of me. He could have, and he could be in love with you. They could both be still true. So let's just be careful and make sure that your needs are being met and that you're not just going along with the flow of things, because you get a voice. You're half of the couple. Lily writes, I need help. There is this guy, and I have a class with, and we obviously both flirt with each other. And I need to know if he likes me, though, because here is KOH, a dance soon, and I might ask him, but I'm scared to get rejected if he doesn't like me. So I need an opinion. When we are in class, we will be having a normal conversation with each other, and he'll have the biggest smile on his face the whole time he's talking to me. And he also always tries to touch my hands, and he doesn't just grab them or anything. He'll ask me how my competition was, and then he will give me a high five, lol. But it's not an actual high five. He will end up, like, holding my hands for a couple of seconds, and then I'll pull away. So during that class, I feel like he likes me. But then we will see each other in the hallway, and he will just keep walking. Like, he won't even acknowledge that I'm there or anything. And it's not like he only talks to me in that class because he doesn't have anybody else to talk to, because he does. So I don't know, and I need help. All right, let's start with Nina.
She's very excited. That's the hand movements I was just saying. I think there was a bit confusion, and then it got awkward there for a second. Sorry about that. If he's ignoring you in the hallway, I don't know what's going on here. Why? Maybe he doesn't see you, but I think he likes you. It's obvious if he's doing this in class. But why isn't he paying attention to you in the hallway? That just makes me feel like he's being.
I think that they're
rude.
I don't know if he's being rude, but it's
like he's being like he doesn't want to show his friends.
Yeah, because it's like really kind of stating it to the entire hallway.
How old are these people? I wish they would tell us how old they are.
I know.
I'm guessing 13.
Yeah. So
just the grammar.
Go ahead, Morgan.
This is almost exactly my relationship. So I have this guy in my school. I mean, he's been my friend for a very long time. I've always secretly liked him. He's secretly liked me too. It's pretty obvious considering exactly what's on the page. I mean, he touches my hands a lot, makes jokes with me all the time, constantly like messes with me, sarcasm all the time. And you know, like the problem I do have is we do have multiple classes together and he will talk to me in class. But when he gets into the whole public scene,
Right.
I'll be walking past him, I'll like smile at him and he'll like, you know,
Right.
it's almost a brush off.
Yeah.
And I see him with his friends all the time. And when he is with his friends, personally, I don't feel he gives me the attention I deserve, considering how he does treat me in class. But I do know he likes me, so it could be the fact that he's having some sort of identity thing with his friends and with the girls he likes.
The second you start saying hi to a girl as you pass her, like your friends are giving you the
yeah.
business for the whole rest of the day.
Yep.
Aaron?
Immaturity.
Yeah.
To answer the question, he likes you and he's shy. There's nothing else. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very simple. Montana.
Yeah, and because of that, I think she needs to make the first move and invite him to this. And also, inviting a guy to a dance doesn't necessarily mean, like, oh, we're a couple now. Especially if you're in high school, that after about, like, freshman, sophomore year, that stops being a thing where it's like, we went to a dance together and now we're in love forever and having babies.
Yeah.
That's not a thing anymore. It's just like, we're friends, maybe we could take it a little bit more or less, depending on how we feel. And really the key is just, like, I don't know if this is how other people do things. Can you just ask somebody point blank, like, hey, do you like me? Because that's how I found out if people like me. I'm like, hey, so.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think you should just say, do you like me? Like, I think you should make yourself the vulnerable person first and just say, like, I kind of like you.
But
And
what
then-
if they don't?
Well, but they won't. If you say,
That
do you
would
like
just make it awkward.
If you say, do you like me, they may think it's because you want to know, you just want to make sure they don't. You know what I mean? Like, so you might not get the truth if you don't at first reveal.
But I feel like if someone were to point blank ask you, wouldn't you just admit it?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, I'm that kind of person.
you would.
But
Yeah, but
you
you
would.
don't-
I'm like
you-
really,
you're good with
I'm really
Twitter.
obnoxious, so I.
Like, you're not obnoxious,
I
but,
think
like,
you
you're
gotta-
you're confident. Like,
You have to suss out the person and see if it's okay. And, like, you're the kind of person who would do that. I'm just like, yeah, I do. All right.
Yeah, and I
We
think
can move
again,
on now.
Yeah,
It'll be
like
good or something.
by
but-
personal experience, without telling him that I liked him, I got nowhere. I mean,
Right.
when I was in a situation with him where he was sitting next to me. I mean, the whole class was doing whatever they were doing. We had a free period sort of thing. And he was just talking to me about his life, about his daily routine. And I just blurted out. I was like, so what is this? Like, are we going to ever hang out?
wow.
Like, what is this? And absolutely right after that, we started hanging out a lot. And, I mean, he eventually went on dates with me. And he was my Valentine this year, which was really nice.
Aw.
And I think we're going to prom. So that
That's
would be really
great.
cool.
Oh, when's your prom?
Late May?
Do you have your dress? No. Oh.
Gosh, no.
That's excellent. All right, we're going to jump to the next question. This is from Nick and Gunnar because they kind of like tag teamed it here. Nick wrote, hey, I hope you people are still up because I really need to know how to get a girl's attention and get her to like me. And then Gunnar wrote, hey, you and me both, man. If I learn anything, I'll let you know. Winky face.
I like the winky face. It
All
was
right,
very
ladies,
suggestive.
ladies, help a fella out. Nina.
I feel like this question is asked so much, and I feel as if you can't really get someone to like you. Like, if that person doesn't have a connection with you, it's kind of hard to get it to that point unless you're always hanging out. And I mean, it depends on who the girl is. It's not just all girls. You do this one thing and they just fall in love with you out of nowhere.
There's not a magic
it's a matter.
switch.
It's a matter of having a really good personality, and if the girl really likes your personality, that's pretty much. And there's no list of things you do to get a girl to like you.
Right, but there is like kind of like
I mean, be funny.
be known, be a known thing. So if you're just a
Make
face,
an effort.
Yeah, if you're just a face walking by, she may not know anything about you. But if you're someone who's taking an interest in her and saying, "Oh my gosh, how did that play go? I know you were trying out." Then all of a sudden you're a person that actually cares about her, and that will change you from 0% to 50%. Being a known thing, Montana.
I think it's also really important to be friends with somebody before you're in a relationship with them.
Yep.
Because all relationships where it's just like, hey, I think you're pretty, let's be in a relationship now, they're so awkward because you have no connection with the person. You're trying to find a connection with the person while also being in the state of like, oh, we're in a relationship, so things have to be more intense immediately. And that's not how things work. You have to be like friends first. And that's also how things start to happen as you get older, like adults. I mean, unless you do blind dating, but then like blind dating's awkward too. Nobody likes blind dating.
But at least on a blind date, you're not a couple. You didn't agree to be a couple. You just agreed to
or
coffee.
like being set up by
Right,
like
but-
friends and
No,
you
but
don't like the
it's-
person.
It's still better because this is like saying, hey, I think you're cute. Do you want to go out? Because kids in middle school, they don't go on one date. They're either nothing or dating.
Soulmates.
Yeah. No, I mean, not
It's
necessarily,
so-
Wait,
but
whoa,
just
whoa.
the title
Middle
of
school, they don't even talk to each other. They're like, oh my god, I'm dating this person, but I can't even look at them because it's
right. So it's just a
pathetic.
title.
I dated someone for 3.5 years from 6th grade to 10th grade.
Did you know his name?
What?
Did I know his name?
Yeah.
Justin.
You dated Justin? Oh my god.
Justin.
Wait, was
Cheek.
it like a real relationship?
It was a very, very real relationship. He didn't go to the
Aw.
same school as I did. But, I mean, of course we grew up together. He was like the person that I've been growing up with since 10 years old.
So you knew him.
Yes, and I'm still in contact with him. He's still a friend of mine. But, I mean, sometimes you realize, I mean, as much as we hate to say it, everybody has a type. Everyone has a preference. Less than a type, more a preference.
Right.
So, I mean, while one person can appreciate someone that's outgoing, another person would think it would compliment them to date someone that's shy. I mean, if you're an introvert, then it's nice to compliment yourself with an extrovert, right? So, I mean, if he wants someone to like him, he has to see what is her personality. Does he like her? Does he like her personality? You know?
But he can't just change his
Yeah,
personality.
exactly. So, I mean, it's basically what she likes. I mean, if he likes her, then he'll see eventually if she will like him.
Through knowledge.
Yeah, and no changing yourself
Right.
in order to see that.
Don't be the last scene of Grease.
Yeah. So, like, we're skipping over this. There's two questions here. We're
Okay.
skipping over the first one,
All right.
which is how do you get a girl's attention? Because how do you get a girl to like you is kind of not a question. That's kind of a weird thing to
Right.
say.
How do you get a girl's
But
attention?
how do you get a girl's
It's like,
attention?
ask her a question.
Right. Have you met this girl? Right. Like, meet her. That is how you get her attention.
It's not by setting yourself on fire.
You
'cause
can't
it's
just
the
look at
wrong
someone-
kind of attention.
You can't just look at someone and think
Boy on
and already
fire.
like their personality. You have to. Yeah.
I mean, I see so many guys that give girls attention. Like, I have many guy friends, and they have the most horrible approach when it comes to girls. I mean, they'll say something mean, something a little bit offensive, actually. And I don't know
Yeah.
why
God.
they do that. It's negative attention.
It's totally like kindergarten where it's like, I like this girl, but I don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, let me
Let's
shove her
pour
into the
Play-Doh
bushes.
in her hair or
Oh my
something.
God.
Yeah,
No,
I-
it's more. Sorry, it's more than that though. Because like negging is like a whole thing. It's like almost like a movement. It's gross.
How does it go?
Negging, which is essentially like
Negative.
getting girls to like you by making them feel bad about themselves, and that's totally like a thing that
Yeah.
guys do.
Oh,
see that
oh
a
no,
lot.
that's been
Yeah.
going on for centuries.
Right.
It's like saying, "Well, I'm the best you're going to ever do because you're horrible."
Well, but like
that's
But
abusive.
no, but like they're like they meet online and like they have like they try to work it out as a science, like exactly what to say and how to. It's gross.
no,
It's
because you're getting the
disgusting.
low self-esteem girl.
right.
So
like,
if you,
but like
if
you're
you-
turning them into that.
No,
right?
they can only turn themselves into that.
But you
if
see
they're
that a
if they're
lot.
susceptible, then they're susceptible because you guys would not fall for that. You'd be like, you're trying to put me down
Right.
to make me feel like you're the
Yeah.
best I
you
can
see
do.
that a lot in
See
conceited
you.
guys. Like a lot of guys
No,
who feel
they
they're
act
lowered by
conceited.
liking a girl.
They-
Oh my god, like I like this girl. What if she doesn't like me? I have to put her down.
They act conceited. They're actually insecure.
Yes,
That's
very
my
much so. I
theory.
think that's the root of it a lot.
Yeah, Montana.
Oh my god. So this was happening like to my friend and also me and like just last week because I know this one guy and I've kind of been friends with him for freshman year and since freshman year and basically he's a pathological liar. He has a lot of problems and he's messed up and I feel bad for that, but he does this thing which I'm almost entirely sure he's learned in one of those like how to manipulate women books.
Oh my god.
Which are a thing. There's like a show, and there was this dude who went to some country and did a TV show about it. So they had like a petition to like extradite him from that country, which I love
Wow.
that country for doing. I feel like it might have been Britain, but I don't really know. Anyway, oh, was it Britain?
Jenny's nodding.
thank you. Thank your people.
Thank you for sending him back to us.
Well,
We will deal with him. Go ahead.
yeah, he does this thing where it's like he'll give you a compliment and then take it back with a small insult. And I see people do that a lot because it's like, I like you and you should like me, but you're not good enough still. If you go with me, I'll make you good enough, which is never an okay thing. That's like one of the first signs of an abusive relationship
course.
and just a messed up person that you should run away from. Just run.
Yeah, I mean, if you really need to redefine yourself that badly,
Mm-hmm.
join the army. So, go to boot camp and you can get yelled at, and then you'll at least have a trade and a skill and everything. But, like, to be in a relationship with some guy who's, like, giving you, like, a little bit of sugar and then a smack, like, that's
what abuse is.
Yeah, that's not a relationship.
And that's how they keep like people.
But there's also people that are the total opposite. They will completely give you so many compliments. There's this one person that I know. It's actually kind of gross. He is 18 now, and he's like flirting with this 14-year-old. Yeah, no, my best friend. So I'm not happy about it. So he's such a pathological liar. He'll lie to her about knowing somebody that she likes, like a famous person even, and I'm kind of mad at her for believing it, but he makes up all these lies to get her to like him, and it's so twisted, and he'll, shower with compliments and then put his problems on her.
And she's falling for it?
Now she started, I'm kind of getting
Because, like,
a little bit frustrated with her.
The first
because
red flag is, like, an 18-year-old who shows an interest in a 14-year-old is not someone that any of us need to be associating
Yeah.
with. Because
Exactly. Now I'm
he's
not friends with
going
him
for
anymore.
he's going for a weakness, which is she's going to look up to him because of
Yeah,
the
that's
age
what I-
difference.
Yeah, and she's been through a lot, so she's like really low self-esteem.
Yeah,
so that's
not
what,
good.
and that it
She
makes me
needs-
so
she
angry
needs
just talking
your
about
friendship.
it. Yeah, that's
Montana.
what I'm kind of.
As a rule of thumb, anybody who has graduated high school who dips down back into people who are in high school,
Freshman?
red flag, red
No.
flag. Because once you're out of high school, I don't know this for sure because I'm obviously not graduated, but from what I can like conceive, once you're out of high school, you don't go back. It's like once you're in middle school, nobody visits their old middle school to be like, I had good times here. No, you didn't.
No,
You
but see,
actually didn't.
The thing is that once you are done with high school, you look back at high school and you say, "Oh, high school, that's full of children."
Not to
Children.
be awkward.
And like, think about it in this terms. Like, for any of you who are like high school seniors right now, you wouldn't date a freshman because half of the freshmen were born in 2000. They
Well-
don't even know what to be a 90s kid means.
I mean, not to be awkward
I mean,
or
neither do we,
anything.
but still.
Not to be awkward or anything, but Paul Walker was 33 dating a 16-year-old.
And that's illegal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm really sorry
And there's a lot
Weird.
of
Wait.
guys like that. I'm sorry.
that he's dead, but that was way uncool.
Wait, also,
What?
as an example, like when I was graduating from UCSB, I was a senior, and we thought that the freshmen were babies. We're like, oh my god, we weren't that young, right? But like,
And,
if
yeah.
that's within college, then
Right.
you go back another year or more.
Yeah.
That's what?
I have
All
a
right.
question though.
Yes, real quick because we're going
I'm
to do
sorry.
thread theater.
Okay, so what if this person? Okay, well this. No, this is gonna sound stupid. But what if someone just got out of high school and you're like, now it's a senior dating a freshman in college?
A
What do you think about
senior
that?
in high school dating
Because
a
it's
freshman
like
in co-
8. How about like 18
Well, I mean,
and 21?
that's Jake and Rhodey. I mean,
Like
you
18
can,
and 21.
1 year difference is not a big deal.
That's
in-
different though because they met in high school.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not. I
now
think,
you're over 18.
I
so
mean,
that's kind of okay.
I get the point that you're making about like once you graduate high school, you don't date people in high school. But like, you can if it's a 17 and 18-year-old because it's a 1 year age difference, so it's fine.
But it's not like she went to her old high school to find somebody. Like they met in high school, they'd been friends.
no, but if they had met at a party and
Yeah.
found out each other's ages,
Actually,
yeah,
but
like, oh sorry,
Oh, sorry.
You go.
This person met her through me, which I'm upset about because I knew him, and I'm not going to say where he lives because this is going to be so obvious, but he lives 4 hours away from her. They've never met. Like it's
Oh.
ridiculous.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's like sending her inappropriate texts, and I go off on him because he doesn't act 18, so I feel like he's younger than me. Honestly, he acts like he's 2. So
Well, he's
I-
just violating
I
a lot of
actually-
propriety rules.
I actually know a guy like that. I was hanging. I met this one guy, and I saw him this weekend on accident. He's 24, and he's routinely like trying to hook up with 14-year-olds.
That's extremely illegal.
That's so illegal. And he always does this thing where he complains about his problems. He's like, "Oh, poor me. My life sucks. Love me. Somebody love me." And I'm
I
like,
think of pedophilia, to be
He's-
honest.
Oh yeah, that's a pedophile.
My friend and I used to call
He's
this
literally
kid
a pedophile.
a pedophile. Like, I mean, no, that's not funny, but we used to say it because he was acting like one. Now that he's 18, it really is.
"Now
like,
you
we're-
are a pedophile.
Yeah, now you really are.
But
You
it-
graduated."
But see, at this point, I would advise he get psychological help because
Uh-huh.
he can't.
He even
be-
lies about going to psych wards, and he doesn't. So I'm over it. I'm only trying to help
I think
her.
maybe at this point, then he needs to be reported to law enforcement because
I will do it. I will do it if it
He's
gets
trolling for youngsters
it's like
on the
asking
internet.
her to prom
It's-
and everything.
Is he a
It's-
senior in
it's-
high school?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why I just said high
Do you guys
school.
want to? Do you guys want to
just
do this?
happened.
This thread theater real quick, starting with Montana.
Okay.
So Kenna asked the first question.
What are your thoughts on tattlers? For example, if someone has cigarettes, alcohol, tobacco, or drugs at school, or just uses them in general, what are your thoughts on somebody telling a teacher or authority? I think this will be an interesting debate. It seems that nearly all students and even many teachers have negative attitude on tattlers. What do you think?
Hartley.
It depends. If you know somebody is doing something life-threatening, tell a person of authority solely to prevent their death. Otherwise, it's not really your business to tell on other people for their own illegal choices. People should focus on themselves and the choices that will benefit them. Tattling on somebody who's breaking the rules can hurt them more than their rule-breaking is. It's ultimately their lives. I personally believe it's better to talk to a person yourself about their addiction than to somebody else.
Legal life.
I think long as it isn't hurting them or you should not tell. But if it is hurting you or them, you should.
Kit Kat.
Okay, with your example, cigarettes and tobacco are a big problem at my school, and I wish I could tell somebody, but everybody knows and doesn't care because nobody can breathe in the bathrooms and there's tobacco spit all over the stairs. So yeah, I think it's okay to tattle sometimes. Just don't be like elementary schoolers and tell every little thing somebody does.
Back to Montana. Creatively breathing.
If it's illegal, I'm telling no matter what. If it's a person of age to have a drink or a cigar in a place that doesn't allow it, then I probably won't tell.
Space Ghost.
If it is dangerous, illegal, life-threatening, or hurtful, then I'm going to tell. Any other circumstances, it's not really my business.
Where's Todd?
I don't care as long as there's no death involved.
It was really the initials that were funny. Can we say the initials? IDGAF.
Yeah.
And you can just see Todd be like,
IDGAF.
yeah, like I don't give a.
Just the name Todd.
Yeah, Todd.
That's my dad's name.
Oh my god.
Is this your dad's screen name? He really shouldn't curse. He shouldn't curse.
He's on our play. He curses a lot.
So anyway, your thoughts
That's how I
about?
learned
I
it.
kind of agree with most of where the thread was going. That if the time to tell is when someone is in danger. Other than that, leave it alone.
If anybody is gonna get hurt, yeah, you don't want anybody to get hurt, and then that becomes sometimes it's legally
All right,
your fault if you
now,
haven't told.
But
Sorry.
what about? No, I'm not interrupting you. I want to just jump on. What about Nina's situation? Like she has a 18-year-old hitting on a 14-year-old. Does she involve the adults?
Okay, I don't know to what extent he's hitting on her, and like if he's 4 hours away, like I wonder if it's
It's
okay.
a really weird situation.
Can she just kick him out of her life? And if she doesn't text him, like, is that okay?
Okay, so my issue is I tell her, she's like, okay, I'm done. And then all of a
But
sudden she's
she
talking
doesn't
to him
get it.
again.
Okay,
Yeah.
In that case,
Does her mother know about this?
No.
in that case,
Her mother's, like, barely ever around, so.
in that case, I think she may not be mature enough to handle it on her own, and that if like you foresee this becoming a real problem, I would tell. I've had a friend who has done something like this, but like kind of more drastic, and like she hated me for it, but me and my friend told her parents because we were afraid she was going to run away to San Francisco. But yeah. Anyway, Aaron.
All right, so yeah, in that situation, I am kind of shocked that you haven't told someone already.
I have.
Adults.
Yeah.
Adults? You've
Yup.
told adults.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then that is
Her
even
parents
more
aren't
shocking,
really around, so.
clearly.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's not just an issue between your friend and this guy. That's this guy doing this to her and who knows how many other, like, young girls, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I
He
saw.
tried doing it to me.
Right, okay, so
So
that's
I-
two, right?
Yeah.
Why anymore? Why
And-
anymore?
That you're like smart enough to not like fall for that though.
And he's
I
not.
was like, stop.
I don't
now.
feel like
You're
I feel like it's
gross.
gotten to the point where like he at 18 isn't going to stop pursuing 14-year-olds.
He has a lot of issues, and he needs to work through them on his own. And he always says that he's going to work through them, and then he just doesn't.
Right.
So-
Like Wheezy, this guy poses like a clear and present danger because
Right.
that's two girls we know of, right? So,
Can
like-
she alert law enforcement in his area, or should her mom do that? Maybe.
this is like it's not like she knows, so she's got information, which is good, but
Right.
it's not on her head, right? She needs to
No.
go talk to her parents.
The
No, but
problem
if you
is
see
she
something,
lives
say
so
something.
far away from him that
No,
it's
that
not
doesn't
really
matter.
anything.
No, that doesn't matter. Like they will travel across the country to find
or
vulnerable
find a
young
14-year-old
kids.
around the block
Either
because he's
way.
obviously online looking for
Right.
14-year-olds.
Like there are people who, like there's like a pedophilia.
I don't know if he's
Tourism.
actually looking. I think it's just the people he knows.
It doesn't matter because there's like listen, if he knows them
I'm
and they're
so
4 hours
confused.
away.
I'm getting confused.
No, listen. Like
The
there are
behavior
people.
is
There are
dangerous.
people who travel from country to country to find laws that are more lenient towards people who want to like sleep with little girls, right?
All
Like
right.
it's
Oh,
I
wow.
hate for that to be
Okay.
the final words of the show, but it's 8 o'clock and it's going to have to. Please be careful online. Not everybody out there is your friend. They may be posing as your friend to get something they want from you. Please be careful. We are Our Place Out Loud, and we will see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Wow, what
this
a
does
I've been out there wandering. I've been in here wondering, hoping, reaching, wishing I could find my way. Then I found our place where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care it. I may look a little hazy and I may feel a little crazy. I'm sifting through confusion and I'm searching for solutions, and I know I'm answer bound, 'cause I found our place where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care and hear you, heal you, steer you back to kindness. Your soul may be in tatters. You'll learn what really matters. Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care and hear you, heal you, steer you back to kindness. Your soul may be in tatters. You'll learn what really matters. Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care it. Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care and hear you, heal you, steer you back to kindness. Your soul may be in tatters. You'll learn what really matters. Our place,